Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Jabroni Drive. On this week's episode, Nick Aldis, Adam Pearce, Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio, Roman Reigns, LA Knight, the Women's Fatal 5-Way, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby. Will this be the greatest episode in the history of Jabroni Drive? I think so. Timmy, anything you got to say to all the Schmidlavelites out there?
I got something to say to you, Tom. I'm one half of this show, and my name is Timothy Francis Schmidt, and I'm better than you, and you know it.
I love it. Timmy, what an entrance.
A little out of our element there for that one, Tom.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, that is an AEW reference, Mr. MJF. And we're going to jump right into it here. MJF, free agent at the end of this year, the bidding war of 2024. Tim, there's been rumors of WWE signing Will Ospreay. MJF, the biggest free agent on the market in 2024. That'd be the dagger. That'd be it for AEW if WWE signs these guys. Am I right?
Well, we talked about this before. I always say that because we do. We talk about a lot of this stuff before, Tom. We kind of, we reprocess. We throw some shit against the wall and see what happens. And look, I told you that there's going to be always another promotion. And we just saw the launch of TNA again. So there's going to be always another promotion. And if MJF decides to jump and Will Ospreay and look, they're stacking talent. The WWE already has the most talented roster in all of the biz, and that's why they do what they do. So if it does happen, it'll be great for the WWE. It'll be tough to find room for a lot of these stars because they're going to bring these guys into the fold, and there's going to be other pissed off wrestlers in WWE that won't get the limelight and will be shown the door because they can't afford all these people. So they'll probably end up at AEW or TNA. I actually just saw for the first time tonight MJF wrestle. They are at
Liacouras Center in Temple. Center,
yep, in Philadelphia tonight, and I wasn't overly impressed. I thought he was pretty good. I mean, again, like he's wrestling against some other talent that I'm not aware of. Some guy in the Bullet Club Gold or something like that. I guess that's like the NWO Wolfpack or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
they were going for the Dynamite diamond ring, right? That was the stipulation.
Yeah, but it was pretty decent. I mean, I just he's a little undersized,
Right.
So I don't know how he would fit in. He's more of like almost like an Austin Theory, but he doesn't move as well as Austin Theory. I mean, this is just me kind of eyeing it up.
I agree. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of Chris Jericho. When Jericho came over from WCW to WWE, I kind of see like similar things where he's not obviously Jericho was a good athlete and MJF's a good athlete, but not like he's a little undersized, like you're saying. Great mic work, great mic skills, definitely a big draw. I guess my question is, and this will be it real quick, a yes or no answer from you. You see MJF in the main event of WrestleMania?
I mean, I didn't see LA Knight in the main event of WrestleMania.
Anything's possible, but first look, I've got to think no.
Yeah. I would say yeah. I mean, he did it at AEW in that big venue. At the Oxygen, whatever the fuck it was called, O2 Arena.
No, they were at Wembley.
In Wembley, and
WWE was at the O2.
So yeah, I mean it's possible. I mean as Triple H said when Jade Cargill comes in, we do things differently here. There's a different process. I think there's a way that you can build him up into something bigger than he is right now. And they do such a fantastic job with a lot of these guys to get them to the next level. with promotions, with just the packages that they roll out and momentum. And he's got such a great persona, and he's so incredible on the mic. He can
Yeah.
probably carry himself. So I would say, yeah, I could see him in that. I'm not
If
going to
they
be.
let him, you know what I mean? I guess that has to be so difficult as a booker or someone that's running the creative, is to bring in a guy and like, because when you're working with all these guys and you're in the trenches with these guys that are working every day and the travel and they're putting their lives on the line and they're doing whatever you ask and they're trying to take it to that next level and step up, and then you have a guy that's in another company who's a huge name, who's made a name, come in, and that has to be a difficult thing to be like, hey, we're gonna go with this guy, he's
Yeah.
gonna like, I think that might hold him back because of
Well,
loyalty.
I mean, that's totally what the scenario was when, the guys from WWF came down to WCW, Hall and Nash, right? Like, they come down, they're whatever they're doing, their thing up at WWF. They come down to WCW, they're vaulted, into the main, roster, and they get the biggest storyline. And then Hogan comes in, and Hogan was already there, right? So
Right.
it's just,
A
that
little
those
different though. WWF was the powerhouse and WCW started to come up, just like AEW is starting to come up and like, you know what I mean? You're working with the main brand and you're busting your ass like a guy like a Chad Gable, and
Yeah.
he's doing it every night and every week and just going out there and house shows and travel. And then, oh yeah, MJF, he's been, and I could see that just breeding resent. Like it just has to be a tough balance. You know what I mean? Like, how do you do what's best for this company, but at the same time, loyalty is it's just crazy to think about. That'd be a tough combo to have with some guys, I'm sure.
So would that be a better comparison? Would be like Ric Flair coming to the WWF and then
Yeah,
winning the Royal Rumble.
yeah, right,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So I'm sure that was, you know, but he put over Hart, so I don't know. It's definitely possible. Cody was obviously at WWF, left, and then came back.
Yeah,
AJ Styles was a guy that came in and he got the push, so
Ric
it
Flair
happens.
Ric Flair walks on water in the
Yeah.
wrestling world. Like he just had that name. He had the credibility. It's not like you can argue, what they're doing with him. But
Yeah.
anyway,
All right. So a lot going on this week. We're building to Crown Jewel, and they've already announced a couple matches. The first thing I want to talk about is Logan Paul, and he made an appearance on SmackDown and on Raw this week, cutting two good promos and calling out Rey Mysterio. They're going to have a match for the United States Championship, Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio. I'm really looking forward to this match. I'm excited to see. I hope Logan Paul wins the title. I think he elevates the United States title for higher than it has been in a while, and he can then help build and give credibility to younger talent that they're trying to put over. Maybe a Braun Breaker, maybe Austin Theory, maybe the Aussie. What's his name? Grayson Waller,
Waller.
or even maybe a NXT guy like Carmelo Hayes, So hopefully that's something that could build. Timmy, you're liking the build for this match, and who would you like to see win it?
So Logan Paul brings just such a different energy when he comes back to the WWE, right? He comes fresh off this pay-per-view. There was a lot of hoopla about the pre fight weigh in where there was a brouhaha, if you will,
Yeah.
that ensued, and he got hit with a microphone. So like there's just so many people that were like tuning into this fight. And fresh off of that, he comes right into the WWE. Well, even after that fight, he calls out Rey Mysterio on a totally different platform. So brings eyes back into the WWE, and then throws Rey Mysterio right into the middle of this match here. So um, it's a good build. It's a meteoric build. It's not something that we've seen kind of gradually build over the course of time. We actually talked about Logan Paul holding the title on this show before, putting some meaning behind like a title, right? And giving it like almost like the Brock Lesnar type of treatment, right? Like
Yes.
where some guy from the outside, a superstar that's going to be able to hold the title for a little bit, come back when he wants to defend the belt. Um, yeah, and put some credence to that US title. Uh there is a couple different angles though, Tom, with this match. And my concern, I think, last week was like Rey Mysterio isn't really going to go back and forth with Logan Paul on the mic, right? That's not like his style.
Right.
But they're doing it in different avenues, and if you notice, this Santo Escobar thing is starting to creep into. There's some doubt, right? You can see that like the wheels are turning. I think Escobar was in a match with what's his name? Not Angelo Dawkins. Who's the other one?
Trick Daddy, Trick
No,
Williams.
no, not Angelo Dawkins' partner.
What the fuck is his name? Now I'm drawing a blank from the Street Profits.
Ford, Montez
Montez
Ford.
Ford, yeah.
um, yeah, so that took place, and Rey Mysterio wasn't down, ringside with them, and created some sort of like animosity there, and like there's been that slow build with Ray and Santos, like, hey, like, oh, you're my protege, yeah, that's the mentor, right? And I feel like this could kind of come to a head maybe at Crown Jewel where Santos may interfere with this match. And then you see how Logan Paul and Dominic Mysterio are out in the ring together, doing their promos together. So there's kind of like a nice little tie-in with the family and the LWO and Logan Paul and this whole little kind of trio, if you will, right? Like
Yeah.
it's kind of cool how they're kind of intertwining these things together.
Yeah. I like how they're doing that. I'm really looking forward to this match. Timmy, hot take right now. Logan Paul, I mean, you could say WWE has to love what he's doing as far as promoting the WWE brand. Like you said, he called out Rey Mysterio after his pay-per-view fight, his boxing match, which has a ton of eyes on it that wouldn't normally see professional wrestling. Is this guy the best young talent in WWE right now? Because he has his own draw. He's undeniable right now. Could this guy be a heavyweight champion soon? I
I
mean, you're
think if
talking
he
about a meteoric rise, and I think this United States Championship is perfect for him to be like. You can't like we complained about Roman leaving for a while when he has the title, the main title, and coming back.
yeah,
That's not right. But these kind of secondary titles, I think it's okay. It kind of makes it cool that he goes out and does his thing, and then we're going to see him sporadically, hopefully more than once every 2 months, but not every week. We don't need him there. But like after this run, I mean, this guy could be a WrestleMania main event. He's that big of a name now. He's really building himself like that meteoric rise that you're talking about. And is he kind of going like not unnoticed, but like unrecognized as the top young talent maybe in the world right now? I
well, I
mean, he
think
puts on great matches.
he's he's been mentioned in that. I think ESPN came out with that list of the top 20 wrestlers under
Yeah, he was like
25,
number
and
10 or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. So they'll probably republish that list, but again, he's not involved enough for him to be considered a top talent. I think he is a top talent when he's there. And if you're going to say, can he be a heavyweight title contender? I think he's that big of a draw. Yes. I think he will put asses in seats. Yes. I just think for the WWE audience to get behind him, he has to do what Brock Lesnar does. He comes in for an extended period of time, right? He's like, and Brock Lesnar has had a full career at WWE. Logan Paul has not. He doesn't like. You need the WWE audience to buy into you as that heavyweight champion, and I think you need to earn those stripes, and I think you need to be here for an extended period of time before you even get that shot, before you're able to to sustain yourself as a major league player in the game.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to be coming up. We're going to be talking about. No,
Thanks.
I agree. I'm sorry. I'm looking at our next list, but you're right. He needs to. He needs, and if he's going to be a WWE champion, he needs to commit on contract or something to be at so many shows. Like you have to be an everyday player to be the heavyweight champion for that main
Mhm.
event title. Like Brock had already done it. Like he's a different story. I know he wasn't around. Roman has already done it. Logan couldn't just go win it now, but I could totally see him doing it in the future. But he has to commit to just WWE for an extended period of time to be able to put the strap on him like that. Sorry to
The
I was
state
looking at our next topic because I want to jump around here. So
sustainability, Tom. That's what I'm talking about. That's it.
yeah. So we're gonna get to Roman Reigns and LA Knight in a little bit, but before we do that, there's a couple things that we want to just we'll say we're just gonna touch on right now. The first thing I want to touch on real quick was the Alpha Academy New Day tag team match. I was really impressed with this match. If you watch it, very technical, a lot of cool things. There was a series with Chad Gable and oh my God, Kofi Kingston, where they went back and forth and this lasted for a couple minutes. It was incredible the way they were doing different moves, different holds, different takedowns, jumping, flipping, and like the way it should be done. That perfect combination we've talked about with the high flying acrobatic stuff, but also the technical hard hitting stuff that you need to have.
Yeah.
So I really like this match. If you haven't checked it out, I would say this is match I want to highlight this week. Kind of an untalked about match. These guys aren't main storyline um wrestlers right now, but they're very good.
But it's a tag team division again that's lacking players,
Right.
and to showcase those two tag teams that are legit tag teams is good to see. It's good to see. It's healthy for that division. So more of that, more of that.
Something we've
Uh,
been calling for too in the last couple weeks that there
yeah,
needs to be more actual tag teams, not just these guys thrown together.
yeah. The other thing, can we touch on another topic?
Yeah, this is there's three things I want to touch on. That was one, and I think I know where you're going with the second one here.
No, this is a new one, Tom.
Okay. Ooh.
This is one that Tom that you've been really giving props to this guy for quite some time now over the course of the last month, and all of a sudden, boom, he gets his own vignette.
Oh God.
Ivar.
Well,
Dude,
in the ring, how impressive has he been over the last couple months? I mean,
no, but did you see the vignette that he got? Like he's just out there, he's got the fire around him. It's got his name underneath. Like I guess they're promoting this guy as a singles competitor now. Like he's the hell with Igor or whatever the other guy's name is. He's done. He's the Viking Raider now. And that's it.
they're no longer the Viking Raiders. It's the Viking Raider. There
Yeah.
can be
There's
only one.
maybe he's moving into the singles competition since he's impressed so much. But it was
Well,
straight.
in ring, he can do it. I
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
but I mean that character is going nowhere. There's only so many. There's only one Undertaker. There's only
Well,
one
there's
Kane. There's only one Bray Wyatt. These like kind of outside of the box characters, they got to hit, and this character, the Viking Raider, just does not hit. It's a shame
yeah.
because in the ring, I mean, we've been giving him kudos for the last couple months.
They've only they've done the Viking Raider before. His name was the Berserker. Huff, huff, huff.
Maybe he'll come out as like his manager. All right. So let's move on. Another thing that we want to quick touch on is the Nick Aldis, Adam Pierce back and forth. Now, this is the slow build to the Survivor Series, I'm thinking, where you got brand versus brand. I'm a big fan of Nick Aldis. I liked him when he was with NWA, and I like him coming in. He has Adam Pierce escorted out of SmackDown, kind of a shot. Then
Yeah.
he comes back on Raw and says, "Hey, man to man, I want to apologize. I want to say I was wrong. I'm just trying to, assert my authority, and I made a mistake, and I'd like to sit here and watch you do your thing." To which Adam Pierce is like, "What's going on here? Double security. This something's up." But I'm liking how this back and forth is going and the eventual build
It,
build to I guess War Games.
But Tom, is it something bigger than that?
Is it a match between
Because
those two? Maybe you think
no,
coming? Oh,
well, I mean, no, I don't think we're going to get that at all. I think eventually Nick Aldis will wrestle in the WWE. I
I
do
hope
think that
so.
will happen. But I think the WWE knows that the draft is a sham.
Yes.
And I think this is a way that they tried to actually stick to it, right? Like they have these GMs that are battling, right? And it's almost like you have two GMs like in the NFL, right? Like you have your team, right? You stick with your squad, and it's truly a SmackDown versus Raw type of atmosphere. Maybe they're trying to put some more credence into the draft. I think they know that it's total bullshit. Like the draft is like fucking stupid,
Yeah.
and like both wrestlers. It would be tough to do that. Like you can't keep wrestlers on a certain brand all the time. They have to cross, right?
Right.
Like it would suck because there's too much talent and the wrestlers have to face each other. Like there's just too many good storylines. You cut yourself off from all that stuff if you just stick with one SmackDown, one Raw. That's it. So I think this could be something along those lines where maybe put some more credence into, hey, I'm a SmackDown wrestler, I'm a Raw wrestler, right? And it really builds almost like a team atmosphere, where it's, hey, we're versus SmackDown, we're versus Raw. I know they did this kind of a little bit back in the day
Becky
with
Lunch
no, wasn't it with
and Nexus.
not Nexus? Didn't they bring in the ECW team? Like there was
Yeah.
ECW,
Yep.
so
ECW and WCW and
right.
WWF.
So maybe they're just trying to kind of align it a little bit better, set up for a better draft. Obviously, the Survivor Series would be the number one goal here is to, hey, let's figure out our teams, let's set it up for Survivor Series, and then heading into the draft, it has a little bit more momentum,
You
right?
know what?
And
I like that idea and like kind of and I think tell me if I'm kind of laying this out right too. Now in the past they've done brand versus brand, and that's been a SmackDown staple. You'll have the brand versus the red brand, SmackDown versus Raw, and they'll pit up. The champions will fight each other at Survivor Series. They've done that in the past, but now you have these two GMs, and maybe they can start like, hey, KO, you're going to be going to Raw this week. As a GM, I'm sending you over there. You're on SmackDown, but I'm sending you there to fight this guy or to just check it out. Or, Pierce
sure,
says, all right, look, Kofi, you're going to SmackDown this week
yeah,
to fight so and so. And so then, like, okay, you're drafted this team, but the GM makes the call. You're going to this show this week or that.
yeah,
And, like, that would at least give a little bit of credibility to the draft. Okay, I'm on SmackDown. I got to do what Pierce tells me. He's the GM.
yeah, yeah. And
Is
it's
that
not
kind of
like,
what you're saying?
yeah. It's more organized, right? And it's just like, hey, like it. It's better off too that they have two real legitimate like GMs in place. Not that they're running things or whatever. Obviously, there's a script, but there's no like Vicky Guerrero or like, hey, this week we got like who do they bring out? Who's the black dude that comes out?
Yeah, Teddy Long.
Teddy Long.
Yeah,
Like Teddy
yeah,
Long's the GM for the day, and
yeah,
like it's just caricatures of like there's no credibility to that. So now you have two guys that are in place that are well respected, right, in the industry, and it just seems like it brings a little bit more credibility to what they say and what they do, and they're running a tight ship, and like the wrestlers are listening, right?
yeah,
They're organizing matches and they're working behind the scenes, and there's a little bit of a better element to how they run things now, like with Pierce. And Pierce, you got to give credit to that dude for really kind of guiding that ship because he's been incredible on television. Anytime he has to deliver, like I've never not believed Pierce when he comes in to a situation and he has to handle it. Like he delivers on camera every single time. And look, it's his job. I know he's supposed to do that, the GM role, but I mean, it brings a different dynamic to the whole promotion, in my opinion. And
yeah,
it's cool to see. And now they bring this guy in, and his first appearance was really good too.
yeah. And I like the idea of that kind of sportsmanship of okay, the chess match between the GMs, and I think that would be cool. And then maybe you have someone that comes in, and it's like he comes in, the GM from SmackDown sends him over, and he causes trouble. Says, okay, yeah, we're gonna send over, you're gonna fight Seth Rollins next week now, or you're going against Drew McIntyre. Oh, you're gonna come to my show and cause a problem. We're sending Sheamus over next week, or you're coming here next week to fight. You know what I mean? Like, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, and then at least the draft then can kind of have some validity and make a little bit and have it make it make sense, like we've said 100 times on this show. All right, one last thing we want to touch on. This is our touch on segment. Giovanni, Ludwig, Gunther, Imperium. And just a quick note, they've been teasing this, like if Giovanni doesn't perform, there's gonna be these repercussions, something's gonna happen. And again, he loses a match. Ludwig warned him before the match that, now my name's on, I'm gotta answer if you lose. He got to, well, he loses. So what's gonna happen with this? And just kind of that build in that storyline and where that's going, Tim. Is that opening the door for someone else to join Imperium or
It, well, you have to figure that Imperium is going to stay a staple, right? Because this reign doesn't seem like it's going to end with the IC title, and if it does end, we've predicted that he's going to go on to bigger and better things, whether that's the U.S. title or whether that's challenging for the Universal title. But like you got these two clowns that really have not made that much of an impact with Imperium. I mean, Vinci gets beat every single week. He gets ragdolled, and there's always there's going to be repercussions from Gunther, and it feels like at this point, like they're kind of pushing him on the way out, and like you get Kaiser who gets his own little vignette, and we saw the clip where KO's like, "What?"
HJB's favorite guy, Ludwig
Yeah,
Kaiser, and his facial expressions?
and like KO's in the ring with Sami Zayn. He's like, "What the hell was that?"
In that moment, I was like, dude, HJB loved the Kaiser vignette, and then Timmy, I could tell, would love the KO going, what the hell was that?
Yeah,
Just like perfect lineup of your guys, why you like both of those characters.
yeah. So like they're getting time. They're getting an investment from creative into their characters and into the storyline. It's just like where is it going to go? I predicted a few months back when I first started watching NXT and I saw Dragunov on that show, and I'm like, man, he would be the perfect guy to bring up onto the main roster and slide him into Imperium. And like you can see Gunther being a former NXT guy, right? Being able to like groom him and take him under his wing. I think that would be like really kind of a perfect combo with Kaiser and with Dragunov and Imperium. And I don't know what's going on with Vinci. Like I've seen some of his matches online before. He seemed to be like a really good wrestler. He had like a really cool like entrance theme. I've seen him like he walks in and like they take a picture of him and he's just staring at the camera. It's pretty funny. He seems like he has some charisma, but I just don't think it's working with in Imperium right now. So maybe a changing of the guard is needed there.
Yeah.
I think Gunther also it keeps his character fresh, right? If he's not just settling, like he's the number one champion and he's the best wrestler right now in the world, probably.
My favorite.
And he's got a guy that's in his clique and his stable that continues to lose and he's accepting it. It's like this isn't the standard. He talks about being the ring general, right? Like the ring general, right?
Yeah, right.
And this dude who's in his stable continues to lose, and it's understandard in my opinion. Like, why would you settle for that? Why would you keep this guy around you if he continues to lose? I think it makes perfect sense to move on from him.
It'd be cool to see a moment where, Gunther gets in his face and starts yelling at him and then just starts chopping the shit out of him and,
Yeah, power bomb.
power
Yeah,
bomb,
yeah,
lariat,
yeah. And then
chop and then leave him there and say, you're out. You're
yeah,
done.
and then
So
that'll be the last we see of
I
Vinci.
was gonna say, does he come back from that, or does he just
Yeah,
go down to NXT then, or something? Who
yeah.
knows? But all right. So let's get into the big storyline for this weekend. Roman Reigns will be on SmackDown this week. Him and LA Knight face to face in the build to their match a week prior to the Crown Jewel PLE. Where where do you expect to see LA after this match? I mean, this is a tough spot because I just cannot see LA winning this match. And then I can't see Roman win via interference again. Roman needs to win a straight up match, you know? So it's like Roman needs to win a match without any interference, just have a great match, go out there, find a way to win, whatever. But LA, I mean, he's on such a hot streak that it's like, how do you just stop it now? And if he loses to Roman, where do we go from here? Now, last year, Logan Paul went in, had a great match, lost to Roman Reigns, moved on, had a great match with faced Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, was big in Royal Rumble. It's not the end of his career, but like it just doesn't seem to be doing it. Or is it doing him a favor by putting him in this main event? Is it that good enough?
I think, yeah, he is. Wait, so Logan wrestled at Crown Jewel Roman Reigns, didn't he?
Last year, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Logan
yeah,
wrestled and
yeah,
lost to Roman last year, and then uh now it's LA Knight, yeah.
yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how they script this match because, to your point, LA Knight is on such a hot streak and he's getting more and more comfortable in the ring. His performances have been much more improved. In the ring, again, like technically he's been better. Like we haven't seen a lot of missed spots by him. Pretty good. His just his wrestling abilities so far. And then the mic work is just getting better and better and better, and to the point where like I'm not even getting worried anymore when he's cutting promos. Not like, oh no, don't mess up. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
right.
Because
No.
I think the WWE creative, I think the people in charge are believing in him. Now it's scary because you get to this point where he gets this match, right? And this is it. This is gonna be it for him. And if he doesn't deliver, um, where does that leave him? You know, I think I heard Bully Ray. I saw a clip. He said like he wants to know if this is going to be like a one hit wonder for him. I don't think so. I think that yeah, look, he has so much of a draw. He's such a baby face right now. The crowd loves him. Like I mean, he has them in the palm of his hands. Where I think he comes out of this okay, but it all depends on the match flow. Um, yeah, you're not going to see a ton of like those big spots. Like you see him run and jump up in the corner where Roman Reigns is, is going to do a flying elbow drop and he does a super, a suplex off the top rope. Like you're not going to see that move, right? It's going to be a little bit more calculated. It's going to be a little bit slower match like Roman Reigns always has, right? And you're going to adjust to that flow. But you have to keep the crowd into it. You have to keep them engaged, right? It's got to be done right because if it gets boring, that is when it could really be a death sentence for it for LA Knight.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to do this. I keep thinking about when Stone Cold was starting to come up and, really get some momentum with his character and how Bret Hart put him over the top. And he put him over and Stone Cold didn't win the matches. So maybe this is something where he, Roman can win via cheating. I don't want there to be interference. Kind of like how Ricochet lost to Logan Paul with the Knucks. something along those lines where he hits him with something and maybe that costs him the match, and then LA just becomes a menace to Roman Reigns. I think that would be kind of a cool storyline where wherever Roman goes, LA's like interfering in his business, kind of a wild card that's coming out of it anywhere. You mess with that guy. I feel like kind of like a Stone Cold where he that happened back in the day. I'm worried that this is going to be a one and done, and that they're gonna, LA's gonna move to the back of the line after this. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what they did to Chad Gable, right? But with the Intercontinental title, like yeah, like he got a shot, had a couple matches with him that were well above 4.5 stars, 5-star matches if we're talking Dave Meltzer scale.
Yeah.
Um,
Schmidt and Lavelle scale. Those are
yeah,
five-star matches.
yeah, but I think like the bigger picture here, I think it's more still Cody Rhodes than it is LA Knight. Like LA Knight has been, I think, a nice piece for the WWE. They say, hey, look, we got fire in a bottle here. Let's bottle it up and let's see how far we can go with this, right? I don't know if that was the right expression, but
Yeah, no, yeah.
um
But I know what you're saying.
yeah. So yeah, they got this
Lightning in a
meteoric
bottle.
lightning in a bottle, fire in a
Yeah,
bottle. I knew it was an element of some sort.
yeah, yeah.
Um and yeah, they're running with it. And I don't think a year ago they would have predicted that Roman Reigns and LA Knight would be in a title match, universal title match at Crown Jewel. Like I think this is something that they've stumbled upon and they're running with it. And you don't see that often with WWE because a lot of it's manufactured, right? And like they're like, hey, listen, yeah, this is very organic. And the WWE universe has a lot to do with it because they've gotten behind this guy and they've more pushed him than the WWE creative has. And it's now something that you don't see often is creative listening to the WWE universe and letting a guy like LA Knight get over, right, and finally be able to get to that peak and wrestle with one of the best and have a title shot. So it's cool to see. I still think the story has to be Cody Rhodes and it has to be Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I think that's the only way you really have gold. It's such a big opportunity. You can't have Roman Reigns lose until WrestleMania. He will, in my opinion, he will not lose until WrestleMania. But if you want to keep that lightning in a bottle with LA Knight, you have to figure out a way for him to lose properly and still maintain his status and continue to be in that upper echelon of talent where there's still he's still wrestling with the best, right? He's still in the bloodline type of storyline, right? Maybe he gets involved with Cody Rhodes. You saw him at maybe that Survivor Series, right? You get him like kind of rolled into that with like Jey Uso and all that, and he is a face now, and as much as he has that like heelish type of personality, like almost like a Stone Cold, right? Like where he's like, kind of F you,
The
like fuck
anti-hero.
you. Yeah, the anti-hero. Um, it's up to him to kind of maintain that type of mentality and carry it through. So we'll see how it plays out, Tom. I'm looking forward to it.
I think he can maintain the character. I think the merch sales has helped a ton. And obviously you said the universe getting behind him. I think he can do it. I don't think he wins here. I'm hoping that they set it up to where a loss doesn't hurt him and it's not like he's done. I'd like him to be that menace, that guy that is a thorn in Roman Reigns' side, in the bloodline side. If he gets screwed in this somehow, some way, he's gonna get his revenge, you know, don't trust anybody type of attitude. And I hope that's where they're going with this. All right, Timmy. Um, the women's fatal five way, mommy against five, we'll see. Yeah, that's coming up. The Cody Rhodes versus Damian Priest match, that kind of is thrown together. Um, I'm sure it'll be decent, but it just seems to be filler for them until we get to that main story. Uh, I want to talk about right now mommy's kind of interaction with a lot of people, the bloodline and Judgment Day seem to be in cahoots. She's been talking to Drew McIntyre this week on Raw. She's talking to Seth Rollins, talking about how allegiances can change, appealing to his ego and how it must hurt that Roman's been the champion for this long. And, they were both in the Shield together. Where the Judgment Day, I really feel like we're setting up for these big storyline bombs to start really settling in. At Crown Jewel, I think it won't be until Survivor Series that we really start to get some momentum going and some big moments and some wow moments on Raw, SmackDown, these PLEs. Um, but a lot of this is pushing to Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre's story, I've loved the build to this, and I love where this is going and the teasing of him joining the Judgment Day. So Drew McIntyre then had a match against Sammy. He ends up beating Sammy in a great match if you haven't checked it out. But Mommy got up on the ropes, distracted Sammy, and then Drew McIntyre hit him with the finish 1, 2, 3. McIntyre didn't see Mommy get up on the ropes, but they're teasing him joining the Judgment Day. Is this a swerve? Are they trying to swerve us to look at this while the trick is going over here? Someone else is going to swerve. Is Drew McIntyre going to join the Judgment Day?
Uh, yeah. Last week you said that you could see that happening, and that would be
Totally.
that would be a cool. It would be a cool pivot, right? Um, I think we're all in agreement here. Like the senior money in the bank thing isn't working. Like it just has to end in whatever way. I need it resolved. Like the JD McDonough thing, the whipping boy. I don't even know what he is. What is he, like their mascot now? Like
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with him. Um, the Judgment Day, just like they come out and they do the same shit now over and over again. Like we used to talk about like how they have titles and yeah, we need to see them force their will and they do it. And now it's just like they're becoming like almost like caricatures of themselves. Like I'm like not buying it almost anymore with the other with Finn and with Priest and I think they do need like a refresh, you
They
know?
totally need a refresh. But I'm
And
afraid Priest is done after that. Like, and I shouldn't because he doesn't really move me. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh, Damian Priest has a big like. I'm so excited for the Damian Priest match. I'm not. I'm never really excited for the Damian Priest match, and it's a shame. He seems like a nice guy, but he doesn't move my like. I'm not like okay, let's check out what he has to say. And I feel like if he leaves Judgment Day, it didn't work out. Sorry, buddy. Like that sucks,
yeah,
but it is what it
yeah.
is.
Yeah, he doesn't move the needle, if you will. You know, he's like I always say this, and I feel like so repetitive sometimes, but like he's just so unbelievable on the mic. Like I can't buy it. Like I don't buy it. Like Finn has a way of being like stupid, and he sounds like just so off that it almost kind of works. Like I just like he has this like little annoying like next door neighbor like kid like get the hell out of here kid like you're annoying me. Um, but yeah, Drew joining that would be just I think a nice pivot. I just don't know what else you're talking about. Like, what else would there be? Yeah, like, are you talking about like Seth Rollins possibly coming over? Do you like what is it like? You're talking about, hey, like, look what's going on over here. Yet, like behind the scenes, this other thing is happening. What would that other thing be?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if Drew is joining Judgment Day, it's almost like they're making it too obvious now. So I would say in next week's episode, it's something where he totally denounces it and says, I have nothing to do with it. Like he has been doing, but like truly has to be like adamant. I am not joining the judge. Like this is ridiculous. Blah blah blah. And we see something along those lines. I would love that refresh button with McIntyre joining the Judgment Day, and I think then you have a wow faction there that it's like you can look at that Judgment Day and head to head with the Bloodline, and it's like man, these are two behemoths. These are two groups that are like untouchables.
And the other thing, I mean, that match, Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. I mean, you shouldn't be that big and be able to do the things that, like athletically, that Drew McIntyre does. Like he does that kick up.
Yeah. Oh,
He
he's incredible.
he's 6'6" or something. I'm looking up his measurements. 6'5", 270 pounds, and he's like freakishly athletic. Like, and he moves so well. It's just, I mean, big ups to him for kind of turning that career around and like getting to where he is now. Because he's, I think we talked about it last week about him carrying a torch during COVID and showing up during these shows, and he never got his flowers really at all. And he went through that contract negotiation last year, and there was speculation he was leaving, and it's good to see him in the ring, and seems like he's fully healthy. And if we're getting these storylines around Drew, the good storylines and not the Drew McIntyre, Jared, what's his name that's not here anymore?
Oh yeah, Matt Riddle.
Yeah. Uh,
McRiddle.
McGriddle. I'm glad that we're out of that and we're into like something that's more more substance and that we can get behind because he deserves it.
Yeah, he totally does. And not only does he deserve it, he can carry it. And as much as he's developed his entire career, mainly the big one for me is that character development. And he's proven himself. He proves himself every week. One of the best in the WWE, in the world right now. All right, so we got a big weekend ahead of us, a big Monday Night Raw coming up, and a big SmackDown in the build to next week's PLE in Saudi Arabia, Crown Jewel. Shaping up to be a very entertaining PLE, and hopefully we get some answers, and we will be talking about the build to that next week on Jabroni Drive with a even better breakdown of what the matches are going to be, our predictions, and where we think it's going. We're really getting into the heat of things here and the build to Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania, which is in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Yeah, you know what's weird?
What's that?
What if every wrestler loses at WrestleMania? Like, that's what Philadelphia does. Like, the Phillies are doing it. Like,
oh my God, you're right. I love it. We know what will get the Philly fans really riled up. We'll just have everyone they care about lose. LA Knight will lose in the main event of WrestleMania. You heard it here first. Timmy, anything you want to say to all the Schmidt and Lavellites out there before we sign off?
well, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Go Birds.
Go Birds. Till next week, my name's Tom Lavelle for Timothy Schmidt. Have a great rest of your week.